Hello, I'm Major Hawkins. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about tank destroyers. When it comes to tank destroyers, there are quite a few to choose among, and they are very different, or should be very different in their playstyle. You can go all the way from something that is almost heavy tank-like, frontline-ish, to something really soft that is supposed to stay a little big in the background and maybe can YOLO later on in the game. You have the straight-up YOLO tanks. Again, another hull down frontline tank, very soft, devastating clipper. You have the Death Star, of course, which has the troll gun, troll armor. Never really know what to do or what will happen if you ever hit and miss your shots. So what I'm trying to say is that depending on which tank destroyer you're driving, you should be driving it differently, and deciding on how you will play your tank destroyer in the game and which tank destroyer you're playing. So are you going frontline, or are you going a little bit as a support tank, or how are you playing it? So don't always sit in the back. And I have two replays here from a couple of clan mates of mine that are playing in the same game, and I'll try to show you the differences in how they play their tank, because they're both in tank destroyer. Here you see Thomas the Mad Dog in the Death Star. I'm just gonna skip a little bit forward here to where the action is. So you see that he sets up in the back here as a support tank. He has a 20-second reload. Even though he has a troll armor, he's not as mobile as a lot of other tanks, and he can do some really, really devastating damage to the enemy team. But if he's going frontline, it's a huge tank and he will be killed instantly. You probably all know that, or you should know that. A Death Star is not a frontline tank, especially not in the beginning of the game. It may be in the late game, you can go frontline or you can go support your tanks. Because another thing about tank destroyers is that if you're setting up as a sniper tank destroyer in the back and you're just sitting there, don't sit there the whole game and watch your team die. There is a point where you have to make decisions whether you want to go frontline, whether you're going to share your hit point pool or something like that. But there are some basics also. Really loggy ammo rack there, I love that. That is how devastating the Death Star is. So you need to decide when you are going to push. Most likely Thomas didn't notice the BC here, because that was a quite annoying shot from him. But look what it does here. 1000 damage again to the T-57. And now he's pretty much dead. So you don't want to drive out in the open before you reload it. You don't want to sit in the open reloading. You want to go behind hard cover, and then you want to reset your camera, and then you want to wait for the right moment. And see, he's not shooting while the BC is looking his way, because the BC is already pre-aiming that bush where he's been shooting from, where Thomas has been shooting from the last 4 times. So instead of just taking the shot, just wait for a couple of seconds, be patient, because you have to wait another 20 seconds anyway. Might as well deal him that shot and don't take any damage in return. So another little mistake here is that we still have the 57 up to the left, and I would most likely have forgotten that myself, and that's really, really annoying that he bounces that shot there. But again, that's what happens. Even though you have a big gun, sometimes you just do odd stuff, and the T-57 has that really troll upper plate there. So it was a 4 versus 6, now it's a 3 versus 3. So our platoon here has really brought the enemy team down. We know the Foch is off to the left, the Kara is off to the right, and just watch this here. The Jägeru, really, really hard hitting heavy tank-ish. Headshot, low plate, bye-bye. And Old Man Grumpy is taking care of the Kara, so now it's just the Foch left. Unfortunately, Thomas here doesn't do any more shots. He's just waiting for his camo to reset, he's reloading, and then he's pushing off to the left. So I'm gonna go into the other replay here, where you see it from the other perspective, and see how that goes. So that'll be from the 268, where you have Old Man Grumpy in. I'm not aware if they are on voice here, or they're just chatting through hotkeys, or how they're doing it. And see here where he sets up to support the mouse, and also the other heavy down to the right, the Rhino. I think that's off to the right side here. And if he was going forward here over the hill, he would expose himself to 3 or 4 tanks, and maybe also the tank destroyers off to the left. So instead of that, backing up here is the clever way, and that way he will also be able to drive downwards forward after he take the shot, and that way minimize the risk of being shot at. And again, he has the mouse in front of him. That can also be quite annoying for the IS-7 in this case here. And see how how fast it reloads also. The 268, I already have a video up on that. I think it's a couple of months old, and I made it right after his Royal Fatness did a stream on it, talking about how goated the 268 is, and it is borderline OP. The 268 has really troll armor. It has a great gun, and it's mobile. So you see how Old Man Grumpy here in the 268 is driving more as a frontline support tank and being out, not in the open, but is exposing himself to the enemy, and they pretty much know where he is at. The same with the Death Star here. The enemy team knows where the Death Star is because he's been shooting from the same place again and again, but he's resetting his camera every time, so they don't know when he's poking out. So now you see here that 4 versus 6, and it doesn't look too good. You already saw we brought it down to a 3 versus 3 here. A little mistake that I could have done myself again. Auto-aiming on that cower there, really annoying that the shot hits the tracks, because if you weren't auto-aiming, you would most definitely have hit that shot instead of hitting the tracks, and that's really annoying. But again, the reload is fast, so we managed to clear some tanks. You have the Jägeroo and the Foch off to the left, and then you have the 3 one-shots off to the front here of our team. And that was obviously the VK and not the Rhino down to the right. VK again, I have another video on that. Really great frontline tank, as you all know. So still we have, we know that Thomas just received the 3 shots from this T-57, so we knew he was on a reload. We know now the Foch is behind us and the Jägeroo is behind us, and they won't be able to push up, because if they do, Thomas will take care of them off to the right side here, because he's sitting in the bush just waiting for one of them to poke, and he's killing the Jägeroo in just a second here. Unfortunately, Old Man Grumpy receives a shot here from the Foch. So now the hunt is in. He's a 3-shot to Old Man Grumpy. Thomas won't be able to kill him with 1 shot, and the VK is low on hit points as well, and the Foch is running the 2-shotgun. So we have on our team 3 one-shots, and the Foch there is each of them have to have a shot in, or at least 2 of them. So we're getting close here. He's doing the right thing. He's running array, creating some distance to the team, and hoping to kind of divide them up. And you see here that Thomas is actually pushing forward, the VK is pushing forward, and Old Man Grumpy is pushing forward. So, as I was saying in the beginning, if you're in a tank destroyer sitting in the back sniping, you don't just sit there the whole game. There's a point in time where you have to make a decision that you have to go. And you have to go in a way that you can sort of support each other, or at least you won't get spotted and killed, and then that enemy tank will be able to reload and before the next tank shows up. So you need to do things like that. So Old Man Grumpy is not stopping out and trying to take an aim on that. He's actually going up here and creating some crossfires on him. Unfortunately, the VK is taken care of, but we know that he's a 2-shot, so Old Man Grumpy has a lot of time to push down and to push up to him, and then take care of him before the Foch has reloaded his 2-shotgun there. So I think this is a great showcase of how the variance in the way you play a tank destroyer is, and you see how they support each other, the way they do that. Thomas in the background is creating a crossfire if they're pushing up from the back when they're coming through in counter cap, and killing the Jägeroo like he did. And Old Man Grumpy, he got his ace in this tank, and Thomas, unfortunately, it was only a 1st class. A lot of sniping there, but a great game for both of them. So see how tank destroyers can carry the game. Just playing right. Don't be silly and frontline too much in a grill. You can get the odd bounces on the gun. Really annoying to shoot the gun sometimes. But again, it's not a frontline tank. And you see how they play them. So I would say that something like the E4, the E3, the Badger to some extent is, or the Minotaur is kind of a heavy tank disguised as a tank destroyer. You have some of the other tanks. You know, the 4005 can be devastating, but Go frontline in this, and you'll be cooked within seconds, because it's just so huge, and it's a HE magnet if you don't run it with the spore liner. So please do that as well. And again, make decisions throughout the game. Find out when you're going to move, when you're going to push with the team, and take some damage for your team, and maybe get that win. So I hope you enjoyed this. Hope to see you again soon. Take care out there. Have a great Sunday, and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.